If your kids are constantly getting sick with every single bug that comes around, you're probably making the same mistake most parents make. We've been taught to suppress symptoms the moment they appear. But what if I told you that's actually making your family sicker? That my family hasn't needed antibiotics or cold medications or cough syrup or anything like that in over 2 years. And it's not because we don't get exposed to germs. My toddler goes to Sunday school just like yours does, and she is exposed to every single germ under the sun there, right? I'm a family wellness chiropractor, and I see lots of kids day in and day out, and several of them are sick on a weekly basis. And yet, our family doesn't get sick on a regular basis because we work with God's design for the body, not against it. I'm Dr. Will, a family wellness chiropractor, and I've been helping families unlock their God-given healing potential for over a decade. And as a family wellness chiropractor, I get asked all the time about what supplements me and my family take when we on a regular basis or when we are getting sick. So here it is. Here are 7 that I actually recommend, including 2 weird ones that might surprise you. But before we get too far into this, I want to leave you a little bit of love. Where do they send you in the hospital if you show up with the peekaboo virus? They send you to the ICU. So here's what blew my mind when I was diving deep into the immune system. Your body doesn't get sick. It does sick. Every symptom and body signal that we experience, a fever, a runny nose, a cough, a sneeze, it isn't your body falling apart. It's actually your body working exactly how God designed it to in order to heal and to protect itself. But here's the problem. We've been conditioned to suppress and prevent and cover up symptoms as soon as they appear, which actually sabotages our bodies and our immune system's incredibly intelligent response from the inside out. So today we're breaking down 7 natural supplements that you can take that support your body's natural healing response instead of suppressing it. I'll tell you which ones we take on a regular basis, which ones we only take when we're starting to feel under the weather. And I'm going to share with you one weird root that most people have never heard about, and I can almost guarantee your doctor knows nothing about as well. So let's start with the daily foundation, vitamin D3. You probably saw that one coming, didn't you? Here's a shocking statistic. Something like 42% of Americans are actually vitamin D deficient. And for our kids, the number is actually climbing higher. But vitamin D isn't just about our bone health. It's actually crippling our immune system as well. In fact, vitamin D is so important. It's one of the key vitamins in activating and turning on your body's immune cells, specifically your T cells, which are the specialized immune cells that identify and destroy infected cells in your body. There was a massive study that looked at over 11,000 participants, and they found that vitamin D supplementation reduced the risk of acute respiratory infection by over 12%. But here's the kicker. That was across the board. In people who were vitamin D deficient, the risk reduction was over 70%. So what do? Our family, we take between 1,000 and 5,000 IU of vitamin D daily, year-round, and we increase that dose during the winter time when we're inside all day. For kids, obviously we want to adjust this by weight, but it's typically between a few hundred and up to 1,000 IU, depending on their age and depending on how large they are. But vitamin D by itself isn't enough. There's another mineral that acts just like vitamin D's best friend for the immune system. So by now you've probably heard about zinc and the immune system. But the thing is, it's not just a thing that you take to boost. It's actually another deficiency that we're developing as a population. It's one of the fastest ways to crash your immune system, and it's incredibly common in kids in particular. Zinc is kind of like the spark plug for your immune system. It's required for the development and the function of your immune cells, specifically neutrophils and natural T killer cells, which is your body's first defense against invaders. In fact, there was a Cochrane review, which is the gold standard in medical research. It analyzed 13 studies and found that zinc supplementation within 24 hours of the onset of symptoms reduced the duration of common colds by about a day and reduced the severity of symptoms as well. But here's what's fascinating. Another study found that even mild zinc deficiency can reduce your immune function by up to 30%. And mild deficiency is incredibly common, especially in kids and people who are picky eaters. So our approach, we make sure that our daily multivitamin has zinc in it. Kids obviously are going to get a lower dose, but we just make sure that our daily multivitamin has 10 to 15 milligrams in there. And when we feel something coming on, we have another immune supplement that we take when we aren't feeling well, and that has a much higher dose in there as well, somewhere in the range of 30 to 50 milligrams for adults. Now, those are our daily foundations, but what happens when we're starting to feel under the weather? What do we take then? Well, everyone reaches for vitamin C when they feel sick, and that's not a wrong move. However, most people are taking it wrong. And elderberry, the research on this might actually blow your mind. So let's start with elderberry because the science is actually incredible. There was a randomized controlled trial that actually found elderberry supplementation reduced cold duration by an average of 4 days, and significantly reduced symptom severity. But here's what makes elderberry so special. It doesn't fight viruses. It modulates and strengthens and improves your body's immune response, helping your body mount a better and appropriate defense without creating excessive inflammation. Another study showed that elderberry enhanced immune cell function while reducing inflammatory markers in the body. Now, vitamin C, everyone knows about this, but often the timing and the dose is often wildly off of what the research shows us is most effective. A meta-analysis in Cochrane Reviews found that regular vitamin C supplementation didn't really prevent the common cold in the general population, but, and this is critical, it reduced cold duration by almost 10% in adults and almost 15% in children when taken while you were feeling under the weather. The key is dosage and timing. During acute illness, your body can actually utilize much higher doses, upwards of 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams every few hours. And so what do? Well, on a regular basis, we make sure that we've got some vitamin C in just our daily diet and in our multivitamin. And at the first sign of any symptoms, we start taking some elderberry syrup, a tablespoon for adults, a teaspoon for kids, 1 to 3 times a day, depending on how bad we're feeling. And we increase our vitamin C exposure up to 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams every 2 to 4 hours, up to bowel tolerance. You might be different than me. And we keep doing that. And here's the kicker, one of the most important things for vitamin C, we keep doing that until we feel completely better. And then we ramp down. We don't immediately go back down to a maintenance dose. We ramp that down so that our body isn't flushing out the extra, and then we end up having a rebound sickness on top of that. Now, last but not least, here's 2 supplements that your doctor probably doesn't know about, but the research on them is absolutely fascinating. Both of these next 2 plants have actually been used for thousands of years in tribal cultures, and we're only just now starting to catch up with research with what our ancestors knew many, many, many moons ago. Let's talk about garlic first, and not just the garlic that you cook with. I'm talking about concentrated garlic extract. There's an active compound in there that actually gives garlic its immune boosting power. One study followed 146 people over 12 weeks. Half took aged garlic extract, half took a placebo. The garlic extract group had 63% fewer cold and flu symptoms, and when they did get sick, their symptoms resolved 61% faster. That's wild. And here's the cool thing. Garlic doesn't just fight infection. There was a study done that showed that aged garlic enhanced immune cell function and reduced inflammatory markers, just like elderberry, and essentially helping your immune system work stronger and smarter. And now, lomatium root. Have you ever heard of that before? I hadn't until just a couple of years ago. This is our new secret weapon that most people have never heard of. Now, Native American tribes call this desert parsley, and it's been used to fight respiratory infections for centuries. And modern research has finally shown that lomatium extract showed significant antiviral activity against multiple strains of influenza. In fact, a clinical study showed that lomatium root reduced the severity and duration of upper respiratory infections by an average of 40% overall. So at the first sign of symptoms for us, we have a supplement that has concentrated garlic root, and we take that exactly how the bottle tells us to, which is like 4 horse pills every 4 hours for the first couple of days. And it's not fun to take, but it works. It really ramps up our immune system and helps us fight things off a whole lot faster. And we also do a lomatium root tincture multiple times a day. And both of those allow our body to work stronger and smarter and fight off infection faster. But here's the most important thing, and you have to understand this, otherwise none of this makes any sense. Everything I've shared so far is useless if you don't understand this fundamental principle that will completely change how you think about your family's health. You don't get sick. In fact, you've never been sick a day in your life. Your body does sick. Every fever, every runny nose, every cough and sneeze, all of that is your body's incredibly intelligent response to factors in the environment, inside and outside. Your body is at work, clearing out threats and building a stronger system from the inside out. When we suppress symptoms with conventional medication, we're essentially telling our body that it's to stop doing its job. We're covering up the problem. We're taking batteries out of the smoke detector. Multiple studies show that when we suppress fever, cough, and mucus, we actually prolong the time that our body suffers through the illness and can also lead to increased transmission and secondary and repeat infections. These supplements work differently. Instead of suppressing the body's response, they provide the raw materials and support that allow our body to work stronger and harder. I believe that when God put you together, He didn't make mistakes. You were designed to be healthy. So instead of shutting down and suppressing and covering up the natural design for the body, start supporting it, and you and your family will be healthier. So start with the foundation. Make sure that you're getting enough vitamin D and zinc and vitamin C in your daily diet and supplementation. Have elderberry, some extra vitamin C, something that has garlic and something that has lomatium root in the reserves and in the cabinet, ready to go when you guys are starting to feel a little run down. But most importantly, switch your mindset from running away from feeling bad to actually, maybe you don't have to embrace feeling terrible, but understanding that's your body's actual normal, natural, healthy response. What's your family's experience been? Are there any of these that you use on a regular basis? Are there any other supplements or vitamins that I didn't cover that you found incredibly effective? Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear. I read every one of those. And I'd love to know, what should I add to my routine? What research do I need to do?